Hey babes, and welcome back to another episode of Thanks for Stopping By. So I thought that I was a big smarty pants and thought I was gonna be able to have an easier, more usable podcast set by just using the USB on this microphone. And maybe it's just the fact that I don't know how to use it all that well, but when I went to edit it this morning, it just sounded like actual garbage. You know? It just sounded like hot fucking garbo. It was echoey, and sometimes you can hear me fiddle with the mic when I use this setup, but man, it was any movement. You can just sound like I was shaking the entire laptop. So that's kind of a bummer, 'cause I really thought I was gonna have a nice little easier setup, but you know what? That's fine. So this is take 2 of episode 17 or 18, I think. 18 of the podcast. Man, that's crazy. I know that probably doesn't seem like a very high number to a lot of people, but like I think in terms of if you've followed any content I've ever made, I don't think I've ever made it past like episode like 10 of something. You know? Like for those of you who don't know, if you're not a patron, if you're not subscribed to my Patreon, I talked about this in a Patreon exclusive episode of this podcast, which you can get twice a month. I believe it's twice a month. I'll have to check, but you get extra episodes if you're if you're a patron. I should probably know the answer to that, but nonetheless, an exclusive episode of Thanks for Stopping By. I dove into my history with making YouTube. Because I've been making content on the internet since I was like 15, I think. Even before that. So I kind of talked about the history of that. So if you donate to my Patreon, you can listen to the full story of that. So yeah, I've been making videos for a very long time, but like my first like official channel was a Let's Play channel. And I think on that channel, I don't think we ever completed a game, and certainly didn't get over like 10 to 15 episodes of a game like per series. And then as far as I've started plenty of fucking podcasts. Jesus Christ. I think last time I counted, I've tried to host over like 10 or 11 podcasts. And none of them have made it past episode like 6, I think are on my Let's Play channel, our podcast. I think that was the furthest one, was 6. And now we've tripled that, right? Yeah. Episode 18, man, that's crazy. And I know I could have more episodes if I didn't take like 2 months off. But hey, sometimes you get burned out, and sometimes you just gotta take care of yourself. But we're back. We're cruising. Yeah. And so also, I think I talked about this on the last podcast. But just in case, just a quick version of it. I do still plan on having guests on the podcast. But I don't want to do what I was doing before, which is every Sunday. There was a point where I was releasing 2 episodes a week. And the way I was doing it was Wednesdays was a solo episode like this. And then Sundays were guest interviews. And while those were really cool and they really challenged me and like made me go outside of my comfort zone, for to like talk to people and you know like I had to like write out questions and like do this very conversational thing. It was very stressful to not only be doing it so often because you may not believe this, but I am actually quite a shy person when it comes to like quote unquote small talk or chat. I'm very bad at that kind of thing. I'm very closed off sometimes, just because it's hard for me to talk to people I'm not like super duper close with. Sometimes, and so interviews can be difficult because you have to not only engage with them but make sure you're, you know, asking interesting questions and having an engaging conversation. And then beyond that too, just scrambling to make sure I had a guest every week was very stressful, especially in this time, like during quarantine. I know it's like you might think it's easier, um, because it was in a sense like easier to schedule people because people were more free, but doing it like the way you have to remotely can be difficult sometimes, and I was figuring it out. All pretty much most of my guest interviews have been done remotely, with the exception of a couple. Um, and so it was just stressful making sure, like, oh, I have to have a guest, I have to have questions, I have to have this, and then come Sunday and you text the person, hey, are we still on tomorrow? Ah, shit, I can't do it. And then you're scrambling Saturday night, Sunday morning to try and find a guest. But I didn't want to have to have that weight anymore. I didn't want to have that added layer of stress of scrambling to find a guest just because I need one. Um, so the way I'm doing it now is like, it's just once a week, first of all, way easier to manage. Um, and I am still going to have guests, but it's just whenever I feel like it or whenever I have a guest or have someone I want on the podcast. And I think that not only is just more manageable, but it makes having guests a little more special because when you have one every Sunday, it may not lose meaning to people who are listening, but it kind of loses meaning to me because I'm no longer excited that I'm getting to talk to so many people because I'm so stressed out about having to do it. Like I can't even enjoy an upcoming interview because I know I'm going to need to start scheduling the next one by the time I'm done with, you know what I mean? So it just, yeah, it really came down to it being manageable. Because while creators and artists make stuff for their fans and make content for people to consume, I've never been the type of person who thinks you should kill yourself for your content, or kill yourself for your art. And some people may disagree with that, but if you aren't enjoying the things you're making and you're just making them to meet a deadline or to please other people, then it's no longer really art. It's a business. It's a hustle. You know what I mean? And some people like that and can live with that, and I'm just not that type. If I'm not enjoying making something, then I'm gonna stop. And it's really as simple as that, and that's why I've taken so many breaks, even though I probably shouldn't have. But that's neither here nor there. um, but yeah, um, I guess with that line of thinking, or sort of along the same lines, I am in a place where I feel more comfortable. Comfortable is maybe not the right word, but I feel confident enough to be making and releasing content again. It's so weird because I had to delete that video that sounded all messed up, so it feels like I already said all this stuff even though I didn't. I released a video recently on my channel around the campfire. I released a video called Let's Talk About Host. Host being a new horror movie that came out on Shudder, which is a horror movie streaming service you can get for like $5 or something. And it was cool, man. It was cool to make something and release it, because I think the last video I released was my part 1 of my disturbing movie series, and that was like 3 months ago. you know yeah, I released it like shit. Yeah, I think it was like 3 or 4 months ago. And granted, I fucking worked my ass off on that video and borderline went crazy making it. Because it was a nightmare to edit and just put all this stuff together. But I'm super proud of it, even though I know there's things wrong with it and there's things I want to improve for the upcoming, the next videos in that series. I'm still super proud of it. But after I made that, a lot of things started happening. We got a lot of shit going on in the world, and we're dealing with a pandemic. I was dealing with moving, dealing with mental health, trying to be out like protesting, doing stuff like that, getting involved. There's just a lot, and I just wasn't feeling particularly motivated to make content. But and there was a point where I started becoming like, well, shit, I gotta just tough it out and release something. But doing that would be going against what I've always said, which is like, I don't want to just release something because I'm like, oh, my channel needs stuff on it. I want to be proud of the videos I make and proud of the stuff I create. So if I'm not feeling it right now, then then I won't post. Like, it's really that simple. And if that's something that's going to keep me from making it on as a prime YouTuber one day, then that's fine, because it's not why I do this, you know what I mean? I'm literally sitting in my bedroom alone talking to a microphone. Like, clearly I do this because it's fun and I like it. And the podcast especially. It's like weirdly therapeutic. Because while obviously I don't come on here and dish out every aspect of my personal life, because that's not how the internet works. It is nice to just like get to come on, like set up the mic and just kind of ramble about like trivial things, like what games I'm playing and what places I've gone recently, which as of the last couple months has been fucking nowhere. But like, it's nice to be able to do that. And something that, whether I blow up one day and I'm doing fucking McElroy level live shows, or I'm still in my room recording into my, $70 microphone, it's something that I'll never stop doing unless it becomes not fun. I think I've had this conversation on the podcast before. But yeah, so weird tangent aside. So I made the host video. And it was a lot of fun to make. I definitely liked being able to make sort of a shorter video. I don't fancy myself like someone who makes like quote unquote video essays, like, here's a 7-hour video about why Death Stranding's kind of weird. It's like, I'm not saying those videos are bad by any means. I watch that kind of shit. I don't have that attention span. Like, I watch those videos and I'm like, I don't know how these people have all this time and energy to fucking research and record and write and do all that. I don't have that mental energy, nor do I have the attention span to do all that. I just want to make funnies and like goof on weird spooky movies because horror is something that I love and comedy is like the content I like to make. So around the campfire I get to blend them, cuz when the channel first was uh like when I first started it, I thought it was going to be this like really deep, super serious horror channel where I was gonna I was gonna do creepypasta readings, which that's that didn't go anywhere. um, like serious ones, like with like atmosphere and fucking music and everything. And then I thought I was gonna make like these very serious, spooky videos about like a murder that happened in the fucking, Burger King bathroom or whatever. I don't know why that was my example, but but I thought it was gonna be like fucking Nexpo or some shit. Like I thought it was gonna be like Rainbot, like those, like super fucking serious, like Rob Gavigan or some shit, or like Kaylee Elise was a perfect example of what I wanted the channel to be, which was, or not necessarily what I wanted it to be at the time, because it evolved eventually, but like at the time I thought I was going to be making like some very serious videos about topics like horror topics and true crime and spooky stuff, and then some more laid back like fun ones, like she would have her subscriber videos and she'd be a lot more laxed and fun in the intros, and then she would talk about the stories and then be, like go back and forth between like fun and jokey to like spooky. And I thought that's what Around the Campfire was going to be. And then I did the the like shitty creepypasta reading show where not the show wasn't shitty, the stories we read were shitty. Where we like goofed on bad creepypastas, and not a new idea by any fucking means, like at all. But it was something that I love doing and it's something I still want to do eventually. I just haven't. I want to find a more visually fun and interesting way to do it, I think. Hold on, let me get my brain on track here. So I'm all over the place. So basically, yeah, me and an old friend of mine, we had a show where we would read bad creepypastas and like goof on them and make fun of them. And it was a good time. It was fun. I had a lot of fun with it. And unfortunately, those videos are no longer up. I explained it at the end of my host video that, it just was had my dead name and, not the correct pronouns in it a lot. Like a lot. And B, we were 16. So let me try and find a way to say this. There are just jokes that I don't think are funny, right? And I think a lot of people are going to hear that and take it as if we were like spouting the N-word or some shit. Not the fucking case. Because that's what a lot of old YouTubers say. They're like, oh, those jokes weren't funny, but I thought it was funny, or I thought it was edgy. That is not what I mean. I literally mean it just was not funny content. I think it was just cringy. We didn't really know how to structure jokes. We didn't really know how to get across what we were saying. It just wasn't funny content. Like it's like when you go back and like watch something you made when you were like 9. Like I used to make videos when I was like 9 years old, on an old VHS camera of all things, and they're fucking terrible. They're garbage videos. But at the time, I was like so proud of them. I remember I had like a ghost hunting series. Oh man. Oh, hold on. My brain just like remembered all kinds of shit. I had a little series that I did on my VHS camcorder with my brother, where I was obsessed with the show Ghost Hunters. And I would walk around the house as if I was like doing ghost hunter shit. I was like, you know, give us a sign that you're here. And I was like pretending I had like EVP equipment and shit. And my brother would run around in the background or move shit in the in a Scream costume I had, which if you remember one of my other podcasts, I talked about how I got away with doing a rendition of the movie Scream in my 4th grade class. So if you want to hear that story, go listen to that episode because it's a fucking wild time. But he would like run around in the background or like stand down the hallway, and then I would like pretend to review the footage with him later, like as if he was like my guy in the truck. So he was the ghost and the guy who reviews the footage. He'd be like, if you look right here, you can see a figure, and it's like so clearly him standing down the hallway. It's so bad. But like as a kid, you're like, oh my god, this is incredible. Hell yeah, it's so fucking funny, dude. It's so good. Oh, this, not even funny because I took myself very seriously. But, like, you're just proud of the content because it's a thing you made. And that's how I feel watching the old creepypasta videos or, like, listening to them. I'm like, God, I'm just not funny, man. Like, a lot of my humor, or a lot of our humor, was what we grew up watching, which was, like, haha, random, So it'd be like, oh, Sonic's here. What, is he going to take a shit? And it's just like, what are you talking about? Dude, write a joke, man. Come on. Write a fucking bit or something. Like, my videos aren't funny now, but at least they're scripted. At least my jokes are thought out. They're still not great, but there's a punchline. It's not just like Jeff the Killer pooped. It's not good. And so I took them all fucking down. I was like, I can't have this up here with the direction my channel's supposed to be going in. And so yeah, it's like fun to look back on, but at the same time I just can't, like, I can't have that kind of shit up there. It's just not funny. And it's not entertaining. And, like, I don't want videos I recorded at 16, 17 to coincide with my channel where I'm now 22 years old, still trying to release shit that's so different. But that's why they're down, and my channel's very barren right now. But like I said, I would love to bring that series back. And if any of you were fans of it, I am trying. However, if I'm going to bring it back, I want to do it in a more visually appealing way. Like, I don't want it to just be a podcast with a fire background like it used to be. And I'd just like it to be like maybe more produced and more thought out than, just essentially a podcast where we read creepypastas. Which is a good idea on its own. But I'm just trying to get creative and be fun. But yeah, man, I like to talk about my YouTube history a lot, don't I? I guess if you're not a patron, you wouldn't know about the history of my Let's Play channel episode, which I think was like 52 minutes of me literally just talking about all the content I've ever tried to make, which, good God, y'all, I've tried to make so much fucking shit, let me tell you. Hey, I've tried to make content for so long, and I'm still barely figuring it out. Because I don't know how to do this shit. I didn't go to fucking school to make videos or, like, I don't know equipment or any of that. I just have Google, and I'm bad at reading, so I can't focus on reading. So I fucking It better be a video, or I guess I'm just not going to learn how to do it. You know? I say that. I don't have to fucking have my girlfriend read articles for me, dude. I can't. If it's like, here's this 20-page article on how to set up your microphone, I'm like, well, I just won't learn how to use it. You better find a YouTube video. I need someone to speak these fucking words to me. I'm not going to read this shit, let me tell you. I can't, man. I zone out so quick. We were playing Resident Evil 7 the other day. And I was, I've beat that game like 3 times, but I was showing it to my girlfriend. And we're playing it, and fucking I come across a room that's just like full of fucking exposition files. And I was literally like, nope, there's no way. I'm not going to do it. So I would just click on them and let her read them until she was done. And then I was like, I'm not going to read this shit. Either you read it out loud. Either you fucking read it out loud, or I'm just not going to know the information. Because, granted, I already know the information because I've played the game so many times. But I was just like, I will not. It's 2:30 p.m., but it's too early for this shit. I will not read this 7 files of why the ghost is spooky. I don't care, man. Point is that she is, Oh, man, what a good game. RE7's such a good game. I didn't realize how short it was. Like I said, we replayed it the other day, and I beat it in a day because it's like 7 hours long or some shit. Like, it's a very short game. And I know there's all kinds of side shit. I'm not, like, faulting the game. It was one of my favorite games of that year. What a weird franchise, dude. Resident Evil's so bizarre to me. So for those of you who aren't familiar with it, like, it's a zombie game, obviously. No shit. I think everyone knows that. Even though it's really not anymore. But so I didn't play Resident Evil growing up. Like, I had a PS1 and PS2 and shit, but I never played it. The first RE game I ever played was Resident Evil 5, which is also another weird phenomenon to me, is a lot of people I've talked to, their first Resident Evil games are either 4 or 5, right? Like, I don't know a lot of people that started with, like, RE2. Definitely don't know a lot of people who started with RE1. I don't even know anyone who knows what RE3 is. Like, I don't know anybody who talks about RE3 until the fucking remake was coming out, and then all of a sudden everyone loved RE3. But Resident Evil 4 was the starting point for a lot of people, and that's hailed as like one of the best games of all time. Because it like had such a heavy influence on gaming today with like the I don't know if it invented it, but it was definitely one of the bigger early examples of over-the-shoulder third-person point of view. So it ditched the tank-controlled fixed camera angles of Resident Evil, but it also didn't follow the model that a lot of early third-person games were doing, which was just like, like complete camera control of the character's like backside. Instead it had that sort of fixed over the shoulder point. And now that's like standard for like a lot of third person action adventure games. But yeah, my first Resident Evil game was Resident Evil 5. I remember I got the fucking Resident Evil 5 Xbox 360. I got the fucking red one. It was hella sick, dude. It was so cool. And then me and my friend, one of my friends from elementary school, played it all the way through and beat it. And it's one of those games where it's like Resident Evil 5 gets shit on like endlessly, but I don't think it, like, everyone can kind of agree that it's actually like a good game. It's just not a good Resident Evil game. Like, if Resident Evil 5 was a different game, like if it just had a different title, if it was just called like fucking zombie shoot man game. That's probably not a good title. But if it was just called like Outbreak and it was like a new IP, and instead of Chris Redfield, it was like fucking, you know, John fucking Johnston. Like, everyone would love that game. And I think people would be really fond of it. Because it's actually like a fucking super fun game. And it's like a lot of fun to play. And it's got a lot of like, it's actually got really good co-op. That's actually how you should play the game. Because when you don't, the AI is kind of shit. But because it was a Resident Evil game, people don't like it. And then Resident Evil 6 is just a bad game. It's just a bad overall game. It's a bad Resident Evil game and a bad regular game. It's got like no, it's just incoherent and a nightmare. But I remember when RE7 got announced, and we were shown that it was going to be in first person, and people went fucking nuts, dude, because nobody knew what that meant. Like, they were like, "What the fuck is this game gonna be?" It didn't seem to be about Zambos like at all anymore, like. And granted, Resident Evil was like kind of barely about zombies anymore anyway. It was more about like weird infected virus people or giant like space bugs. But now you're like in this weird demon family's house, and it seemed more like a ghost, spooky, like fear, more than it was like about zombies. And it was fucking rad, dude. That game's so good. I forgot. Like, I always remember it being good, obviously, but I forget how much fun it is every time I play it. Like, it is just the right amount of like stupid and campy to like be appreciated without it feeling like it's in your face. Like when Ethan throws out like kind of shitty one-liners, or like the first fight you do with Jack where you can like run him over in the car and shit. It's very silly, and it's like hella extra, and it doesn't take itself super serious, but it takes the source material it takes the gaming element serious. It treats the player, like they're a smart person. Like it treats it like you're a competent gamer. Ew, I hate that word. Ew, that's felt gross using it, but you know what I mean. Like it knows you're not stupid. It just knows that you're here for like fun, goofy zombie stuff. But there's also like genuine moments of fear, like the Marguerite fight. I hate it. I hate it every time I play the game. It fucking stresses me out. She freaks me out with her weird bug nest thing, crotch thing. It's just a bad time. I hate it. It's spooky. And then after that, so really all I've ever played was RE5, 6, and 7. I've never played RE4, even though I still plan on it. And then I know there was like an HD remake of Resident Evil 1 a while ago. That I never played. I watched Game Grumps play it, but I never played it myself. But RE2 remake came out. And boy, let me fucking tell you, that game rules, dude. That game's so fun. That game's so good. And I don't care what anyone says, that game is absolutely an improvement on the original. Like, it is. First of all, I hate tank controls and fixed camera angles. Not about it. I don't want to hear your argument about how it adds to the horror. Fuck you. It's frustrating and annoying, and I don't like it. If you like it, good. I'm glad you're having a good time. I'm glad you can stomach it, because I cannot. I don't like it. And I just, obviously graphically it looks better. It's like 20 years later. No shit. It should look better. But I think they made a lot of improvements where they could. You know what I mean? Like, the graphic overhauls, whatever. Like, no shit. Of course it's going to look better. Like I said, it comes out like 2 decades later. But I think in terms of changing some control bits and, like, stuff like that, I think they definitely made the game a lot more fun to play for someone like me, who's more used to the over-the-shoulder, third-person point of view. And I had a fucking awesome time with the game. I beat it in actually one day, because I didn't buy it. I played it on my friend's PlayStation. And I ran through all 4 scenarios in one day. And it was a blast. And then RE3 Remake came out, and I didn't play it, because I didn't want to spend $60 on it. Because it kind of looked like the same game. And I heard mixed things about it, so I just watched Game Grumps play it. And then I'm sure they will do a Resident Evil 4 remake. And I hope they stop there. For at least for a long time. But RE8 is coming out, Village, and it looks fucking buck wild, dude. They're really going for it with these Resident Evil games. You know, they were like, oh fucking you liked, evil fucking ghost family? Well, guess what? Here's a werewolf. Here's an actual fucking werewolf for you. Good luck. Have fun with that. You fucking poser. Here's a good old-fashioned werewolf for you, my dude. Sounds fun. That's fucking... I don't even know. And Chris Redfield looks like a different person again. For like the 3rd time. They cannot decide what they want this man to look like. It is insane to me that there's so much discourse over what this man looks like. He is a different human being. Dude, he's a fucking jacked muscle man in Resident Evil 5. He's like hunky hunk man. And then in Resident Evil 7, at the end, he looks like he works at like a tech company. He looks like a fucking IT guy. And then in this one, he looks like a fucking mobster. He looks like the Muscle. He's fucking Luca Brasi walked through the door. What the fuck is that about? Why can they not figure out what he looks like? He's their character. Like, okay, oops, I dropped the box. I get maybe them changing his design for RE7 because it was supposed to be like a more realistic character model for that game. They didn't want, jacked Gears of War action man. Fine. But why does he not look the same in the next game, dog? What the fuck? I can't figure it out. And neither can they, apparently. It's so fucking crazy to me. They're just like, I don't know. It really feels like they're like, fuck. What did he look like? And then someone was like, we can pull up the file. And they're just like, nah, that's fine. I'll figure it out. And they were just like made him that. They just like threw an asset from another game. And we're like, yeah, no, that's the Chris file, right? Uh-huh. And they're like, no, that's the Gears of War 6 file. It's fine. The game trailer's coming out tomorrow, so we got to get a move on this one. We got to get ready. There's a lot of shit coming out. Spider-Man's coming out. Oh man, I'm so excited for Spider-Man. Dude, what the fuck? Xbox sucks. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry if you have an Xbox, but like, dude, it's not a conversation anymore. Remember when there was a console war? That was a thing we could have. Like, what's fucking, what's better? And Xbox had at least a couple things to make arguments about. Nah, dog. Their one thing they have got postponed again. And people were already kind of not super excited for it. Like Halo Infinite, even Halo fans, like diehard Halo fans, are kind of like, it looks like shit, kind of. Meanwhile, we're over here like, we got fucking Spider-Man, Resident Evil 8, the fucking Demon Souls remakes coming out. We got this weird Pikmin game, this fucking Breath of the Wild shit. We got fucking Bug Snacks. We got we got Horizon 2. You know? What the fuck is Bug Snacks? Why do they always have a weird game like that? Somebody, I think it was Donkey, that said Bug Snacks is the knack of the PS5, and I fucking ascended to heaven because that's the fucking greatest description of what that game is. Why every time there's a new console, there's like a weird fucking kids bullshit title release game? I guess it's to get kids to buy it, but Bug Snacks is not a fucking console selling title. Guys, even children, there are no children who are like, "Mom, I want you to drop a fucking hot stack, a fucking probably $1,000 on the PS5 cuz I want me some Bug Snacks." You know? No, dude. They want fucking Fortnite 2. They don't fucking care about Bug Snacks. I have a little brother. I guarantee you, I ask him, "Hey, are you excited for Bug Snacks?" He's going to look at me like I'm fucking crazy and he's going to go back to playing Fortnite. They don't care. It's just like when dude, kids react to the Bug Snacks trailer like fucking all of us adults react every time a fucking Forza trailer drops. We're like, "No, okay, that's fine. That's gonna be on there. Okay, what about Spider-Man?" You know, what about Spider-Man? But no, we got GTA 5 again. We could have made 3 more GTA games, but buy it again. I can't say shit. I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan. I can't say shit about re-releases. I've bought in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 like 8 times, dog. Every time they remake it, I'm like, fucking, all they want is my money. All they care about is getting my money. They don't care about me as a fan. And they're like, "Yeah, but do you want Kingdom Hearts 3 packaged with Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2? And I'm like, "Yes, please." And they're like, "Money, please." That's Square Enix. Is that girl. "Money, please." And we're all Kingdom Hearts fans. We're the fucking dad. We're like, "Okay, love you. Can we at least get like a couple of DLC worlds for Kingdom Hearts 3, you know, like, you know, some cool DLC worlds every once in a while to like justify us, you know, playing the game. We'll even pay for a season pass." And they go, "Fuck you. We made a game. Isn't that enough? We made the game 20 years later, and in those 20 years, we fucking sold you the same game 9 times. And you want more? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't realize we weren't enough. I didn't realize that you are a piece of shit and you don't want to buy the same game 9 times and you want new content. I'm sorry." And we're like, "I'm sorry, Square Enix. It's okay. No, it's okay. It's fine." And they're like, No. Pardon the fuck out of me that I wouldn't assume that you would want new content. Excuse me, says Square Enix. And then they fucking slap us a couple of times. And we cry and say sorry. And then we buy Kingdom Hearts 2.5 again. Oh my God. Why do we do it? It's our fault. But you know what? When they release, I won't even say if. When they release it on the PS5, you bet your fucking ass I'm going to buy it again. Oh, man. Fuck. What are we at? 47. Wow. Holy shit. Well, thank y'all for joining me here on the podcast. It's been a blast. I love coming on here and getting super serious about life and my passion in creating content, and then immediately switching over to yelling about bug snacks and Kingdom Hearts. It's a good dynamic that I get to have with you. So it's honestly what makes all this worth it. Oh man, thank y'all so much for joining me here today. I hope y'all have a lovely rest of your day, and most importantly, thanks for stopping by.